Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the Intel Extreme Masters, as we have only 3 more series left in bracket number 4, and from here on out, it's going to get very tense between these players, because every single player is now 1 game away from elimination. Joining me on the desk, we do have 2 Aussies, and our Mr. Man from the US of A, but he lives in South Korea, so it doesn't really matter. And realistically, guys, we have Patience going up against Losira now, and actually, to be honest, Artosis, that's a very, very good match.
Yeah, that is a pretty crazy match, like especially considering we didn't really talk about it enough because too many crazy things are occurring. But yeah, Losira took out Su 2-0.
Yes, that's true.
Who's the best Zerg in the world, Maynarde?
Su is.
But does that mean Losira is now the best Zerg in the world?
Yes.
And if
that's what that means.
There we are. Then Patience is the best Zerg in the world.
Whoa!
We're figuring out the Zerg bones at this tournament, no matter what.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. But Patience is a guy that, I mean, if we talk about him historically, he was a Korean that moved to Germany, was rubbish for a bit, moved back to Korea, then got really good all of a sudden again. And then from there on out, people consider him a legitimate threat at all the tournaments that he goes to pick.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a psychopath with his play style. He kind of comes out there and he doesn't play like anybody else. He really is like, you've got your Zest macro Protoss, likes to do the same style every game. You've got Classic, who's got some killer timings. And then you've got Patience, who likes to attack, followed up by attacking, followed by blinking into the most crazy, insane situations, which no one else would ever go into. But he's made a career off it, and he does these incredible games. He pulls off wins against the best players in the world. You know, back in 2016, often beating the best Zergs, but he has been a little bit more quiet in recent times. So this is a big turning point. Can he actually start showing up again?
And he goes up against someone who, like Losira. He goes up against someone like Losira. That was a little bit of a tongue twister for me, and I don't know why, Maynard. But what you saw with Losira going up against Su was very impressive on Losira's side.
It was actually. I mean, the games that Losira won were actually quite convincing. Su tried to go for like a 13-12. He's getting a little bit cheesy. And that's kind of like, it kind of showed that he had a lack of confidence there after the first game on Eastwatch, where, like, you know, Losira kind of outplayed him strategically, did cool things like, you know, denied him from being able to reinforce his gold base by knocking down the rocks. You know, if you guys understand the map architecture, if you play the game, you'll know what I'm talking about.
That one.
Yeah, that one. And it's amazing, because to me, yes, Su is to the best Zerg player in the world. So it's a little bit crazy. But Losira deserves his spot. Will he win in the ZVP, though? I don't know.
As we're about to find out, it's time to go to the commentary team here as we bring you this PVZ that determines who moves on to the qualification match in the lower bracket.
All right, we are about to hop into this match. Very cool to see Losira, one of the oldest school players from StarCraft 2, getting this deep into the Intel Extreme Masters.
Yeah, and apparently he's the best Zerg in the world because he beat Su. So
that's how it works. You got to give up your wrestling belt. The guy who loses has to pass it on.
He certainly is fit enough for wrestling.
Yeah, certainly. Patience, a player who's obviously well respected within Korea. In my own opinion, I'd probably rank him above Losira when I cast him in general, but Losira seems to be on a streak right now. Maybe he can keep this going.
Let's see who can get onto the next match here, which will be a qualifying match. It's between 4 players right now. Let's get started.
In the upper left, in the red, he is Patience.
There she is.
And his opponent in the bottom right, in the blue, he is Losira.
Ooh. An earthquake just went through Katowice. That's not what it sounds like, though.
It's our ESL songs. So, to start things off, we got a gateway on the low ground with a simulator. Losira is somebody who I would say, generally speaking, didn't play the most standard games when he was in his prime, or even now, even in 2017, and now here we are in 2018. He kind of played around what everybody else was doing, which is fine. Patience also has a kind of obtuse Protoss style. He's very good at macro. Not always the cleanest plays, but he definitely gets what he's trying to do done. So this should be a fun series to cast, Todd.
Yeah, Patience is known for his aggression and just being so willing to attack. His blink forwards are like none. Maybe not so much in PvZ though. Whereas,
Still though, it's a characteristic of his style of play.
Definitely, yeah. And Losira, all alike, he's a pretty aggressive Zerg. Like, I mean, theoretically, if you play Zerg, it's very hard to be aggressive all the time and be successful. So he can definitely macro very well as well. But he's one of those guys that loves to be setting the pace of the game. You know, like get into his opponent's face, be attacking a little bit all over the place. He's got good multitask. One of the fastest Zergs out there. I think a lot of people have seen that video where, you know, he's playing and like his hand looks like he's basically like a mechanical arm, like going all over the place and super fast. Like,
yeah,
he's got very high APM. And didn't Losira a long time ago win a Code? I think he might have. So he's
he did.
He's been around for a long time. Already back then was very good at, you know, getting a lot of roaches out on the map, injecting and all that, and he's still relevant to this day and very good.
We have a very few number of players that, from the very start of StarCraft 2, managed to stay quite relevant.
Yeah.
And he's one of them. And that's really saying something because we've had so many patches, various expansions, all these different iterations of StarCraft 2. So to see Losira basically manage to stay in any form of StarCraft 2 that there is, and any meta that's out there is an impressive feat.
And speaking of aggression, we are going to have a link drop here into the main base of Patience, who thanks to this pylon should be able to see it as it's unloaded into his base. And I don't think Losira is committing to this because he didn't remake Zerglings after this. So it's just going to be the initial drop and Zerglings here to try and do some damage onto that probe line. Actually, he starts a couple more links here. Ooh, Losira.
Yeah, Losira
and
getting
Patience
spotted.
Wow.
Yeah, well, this is Patience crossing his T's and dotting his I's. Now, of course, the unload is still going to get off, but the fact that he even spots this a little bit earlier allows him to more effectively try to deny this. So all the Lings will get out, and now we have to see where exactly they want to go. Now, we've seen games, for instance, in the IEM Pyeongchang finals where Scarlet would actually run these Lings around and back over to the entrance, which might be what we have. I don't really think drops are going to be viable anymore. So maybe that's the game plan here from Losira, but first he has to get around these two Adepts. With these Lings pretty low on HP, they can fairly quickly get gunned down.
Yeah, Patience has to reseal the gates here. His buildings are going to be under attack. In particular, the Cyber Core. If he can get a cancel on that warp gate, that'd be great for Losira, but I think he should finish on time.
No, I think he's going to get it. He should be able to get this this Cyber Core down here, and that means no more warp gates, which okay. And then he manages to actually get the there might be a follow-up attack from this, or, you know, if Losira wants, he can keep droning up.
I think okay, so here's the thing. He canceled warp gates, so for now, Patience can only make units normally from the gateways, like in the Broad War days, if you will. So that makes any kind of aggression basically almost impossible. So what's Losira's reaction? He should just drone up like crazy, build up his economy, because there is no immediate threat to what he's doing. So just build up that economy, go for lair, and then pick what composition he wants to go into, as an Oracle is now heading across the map, which Losira should be getting ready for with the Spore.
That's right. Having that hiccup with the the warp gate and everything else is this is definitely a smart little position here by Patience. The Lings have a tougher time getting the right surface area. A really cool abusive position.
What is this,
here
Pac-Man?
I know exactly. This is a that was a great play. But yeah, I mean, everything is going to be coming out momentum-wise a little bit slower from Patience. That's not to say that Losira didn't sacrifice the opportunity to make a lot of drones due to that attack, but already. The start of this game has become wonky.
And Patience immediately chrono boosting out that warp gate. He wants to make sure he gets that in not too long, in a timely manner, adding the Robo facility and the Twilight Council. Actually, he's finding some damage. I'm a little bit surprised by this. Losira not quite ready with the Spores onto his third base, which Patience is going to jump on top of, kill a bunch of Queens, some drones as well. Remember, Patience, even though like this could have been really bad on another map, it would have been even worse because securing his third base would have been harder, but now he has a pocket expansion that he could go into very easily if he wanted to.
Actually, that's a good point. It makes me, on some level, question the strategy choice here by Losira. If you're trying to hurt the Protoss or kill them early on, and it doesn't work, of course, at least you can try to utilize the fact that they can't get a third base because they got to push out. But if he has a free third base back there, how much is Patience really being punished here?
Yeah, not that much at all, really. Like, he now gets warp gates. Charge is on the way now. Templar Archives is adding a lot more gates. And Patience has kept up on the walk account thanks to all these drone snipes very, very well. 55 to 58 with a third base on the way himself. So He's in a pretty good spot, I would say. Now the question is, does he go for Archons and Chargers and does a big attack, which is typical of Patience, or does he actually play a little bit slower? He's actually adding on a Forge right now, and maybe go into Storm, which also would be very good, especially against a lower econ Losira than where he would have liked to be at.
So we have the Warp Prism headed south now. Immortals and Zealot Legs as that continues to get produced here. I guess this also comboed with the 3 Oracles, which are still a realistic threat to anything they can actually manage to snipe. We're starting to see the direction that Patience really wants to play and take this game. Todd, would you say that Losira is not in as good of a position as he should be?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's the defense against the Oracles was just not that great. Again, like the links in the start were a big investment as well. Like, sure, he annoyed Patience, he did some damage, he got the cancel on the warp gate, but I don't think that was enough damage for it to be really justified. In Patience, dropping Archons into the main base, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, it seems like Losira did not actually anticipate this really happening or getting there as quickly as it did. Now, you know, when you go back to the early game there, usually when you see Ling drops get inside their base, you're focused on how many probes they're killing. Getting the Cybernetics core is cool, but this is sort of a weird advantage.
Yeah.
It's not like it's something, right? Slowing down warp gate's pretty big, but it's not. I don't think that's really what Zerg is looking for in this style of play. And the fact that the third base was already taken easy peasy, it seems like Patience is gearing up for the opportunity to take a 4th base. I'm really liking this game for Patience.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he's got Storm on the way now. That should complete before any kind of big fight happens, which Losira is trying to prevent. He's trying to get a big engagement here, maybe in a second. Let's see. This is
oh my god. Okay,
it worked.
That was not the plan coming from Losira. Patience.
He'll take it.
I'll take it. Oh, if you're Zerg, you got to take that. But a little bit sloppy there by Patience. You know, it is, I guess, not the hardest thing to do to lose those Oracles. Hydras do damage so fast. But losing 3 of those Oracles, which could have been used to tag armies.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially when Lurkers come into play. You want to have
that.
You don't want to rely on Observers. So Observers flying and then they die from this Hydralisk and the Overseer. So now everything has changed. Losira still with a lot of army. Storm is ready. Let's see if he overextends. Gets warning shots into his face here with that one Storm.
Yeah, hurting those. Looks like these are going to be spotted over here.
Busted big time.
Missile attack level 2 just now finishing up here for Losira. Some Zealot harass coming out now. And we see that already drawing back the main army in the center of the map over here to this center right location.
Losira is still going to drop, I think, because he's got so much more army and he can't really siege and attack in one location against a Patience who's, you know, going to have enough Immortals and High Templars to deal with this. Although, like, Patience wants to be aggressive, but that Warp Prism gets caught! Oh my god, this is so bad.
Patience, you know, I think he had a pretty good setup for the opening, but he's just losing units that you don't have to lose. Even having that Warp Prism in the warp-in mode, when you know that there's Hydras on the map, you know that he's aware that that's going to be out there, because where on earth where those Zealots have come from anyways. By the way,
in the main base, that's pretty cool actually. Patience anticipating a drop here. That's
I think this is the only way you can play. If you know, he saw those drop overlords earlier on, and so he knows, okay, if a drop's coming, I just have to get ready, kill everything in the drop, and I'm going to be in a very good position. Yeah. But this has been a bumpy game for both players so far.
If Losira has sieges in 2 places with Lurkers, and I think there's going to be a lot of units here in these Overlords, that could be very dangerous. Let's see if those Storms stand in main base. Patience cannot overextend. He can't take a bad engagement. Storms on top of a lot of his own units, actually, but I guess those Hydras take a ton of damage as well. And there were no Lurkers with this army, which is going to get cleaned up easily.
Speaking of the Lurkers over here, Storms coming down. The angling is bad here for Losira. You never want to have those Lurkers in an area where the army can arc around a bigger place than where they can cover.
That went so bad.
Yeah. This was rough. I'm not going to lie here for Losira. I'm not going to say he's going to lose this game, but the attack he was trying to do, first of all, I don't think that was the good time to do it.
He needed more Lurkers, I think, for sure. Imagine if he dropped like 6 Lurkers in the main base and burrowed them, then the entire army of Patience would have died, and then the siege on that 4th base would have been so much better for Losira.
Well, let's also keep in mind that those Zealots that attacked that hatchery at the center right, that was from that warp, and that pulled the whole army back. He might have been able to do a lot more damage more quickly, but instead Patience had the time to set up and get ready for that attack from his opponent.
I know Patience is maybe looking to try and attack himself, gets a Lurker before he can even burrow. He's chasing these Overlords that have units inside of them! Run! Pick up the Archon! He could chase like that.
Yeah, he
gets
could.
one more of these guys.
That's actually pretty big, though, taking out 2 Overlords full of units. Patience now getting into position. He might be able to breach this area. There's a good creep spread over here, but I think the angling is going to be the real problem. With 4 Templars with Psystorm, 4 Immortals, as well as Archons and Zealots to tank. Here we go. Great first storm and the second.
Yeah,
everything hitting perfectly. This army bruised up enough that I think Patience can come through, destroy the remaining forces, and take this expansion out.
And with no lurkers in that location, it's going to be so hard for Losira to hold on. He drops across the map, but it's one of the saddest drops of all time. It gets defended so easily by Patience, who's on point on this side of the map with a big Zealot warp in now onto Losira's third, who's just running out of units. He has the pole drones, he uses the stop command, but there's just too much for the Protoss player.
Okay, so the hatch goes down. This is putting a 4-base Patience versus a 3-base Losira. I don't actually think there's an out here.
Yeah, there is. It's called GGing.
Yeah, let's go into game 2, and that's what we got. Yeah, especially once that base is taken out, you're over their other base from the high ground, and a lot of that tech was also at the natural for Losira. There's really no way to recover from a situation like that. So although there were some back and forth moments, I think Patience showed an overall cleaner PVZ than Losira's ZVP. That's all there is to it.
He showed a calm and relaxed play style.
He did.
Not to use the word patience.
If this was synchronized swimming, he'd get a 10 out of 10. No, he wouldn't. He'd get like an 8 out of 10 because it wasn't perfect, but it was better than the other synchronized swimmers, Todd.
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
And Losira, that was strange because it feels like he was doing well enough, and then the drops were going to be a big threat, but then all of a sudden it all went south. It got spotted. The defense by Patience was perfect, spread with units, storm on top of the big drop. That drop in the main base got absolutely I've never seen a drop get shut down so hard. It got absolutely slaughtered. So
yeah, that seemed to be the moment where we were definitely cementing our position on Losira probably losing this game. You know, drops, you can't just drop whenever, wherever. And the fact that Patience was kind of trying to push out for a 4th, and I think had he did any scouting at all ahead of time, just seeing Cannons and Templars and any number of Zealots, if you only have Hydras, turn around. Go back. I mean, you can always drop at another point in time in that game. But Storm, putting Hydras right in front of the Zealots as they come out of the Overlords, and then just having Cannons. I mean, you're just not going to lose that fight.
They were sharpening their blades.
That's
right.
right.
Hydras even hit the ground.
Yeah, I mean, there was just no hope. Okay, we now go into game number 2. This is Losira versus Patience. Patience right now with a 1-0 lead. And introducing our first player, 1 of 2 in the upper right, in the blue, he is Losira! And his opponent here in the bottom left, in the red, our Protoss player, he's Patience.
After a very solid game 1 like this from Patience, I wouldn't be surprised if he just kind of played similarly. Wait for Losira to overextend. If he does another link drop like this, or gets aggressive when he shouldn't be, all you have to do is defend, and you're in a great spot. So yeah, I like the way Patience played it, really. That was solid throughout, up to 4 bases. You know, I did call him an aggressive player, and for a long time he was, but like I said, he can macro very well. He got everything on time. He was getting upgrades, he got Storm, worked with his composition very well, and then the defense, and even taking the information out there at the same time was there.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, especially that first part, Todd. I don't think that Patience has to do anything special. He just has to do everything correctly. Because Losira is the kind of player, and tell me if you disagree, but I always feel like he's going to try something.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to be textbook macro ZVP, like even the drop play there, the rush with the Lings early on. He wants to try to get the Protoss player on the wrong footing, take that advantage, kind of like keeping him in a Muay Thai clinch or something. Now I can really punish him from here.
Zerg clinch.
A Zerg Thai clinch. And I got to say, it has worked for Losira in the past, but I think the Patience is a pretty practiced Protoss player who's kind of going to be ready for anything. So,
when you're one of those players that really likes to set up the pace for a matchup and you're not able to do that, I think if you get shut down from the very start and the opponent, does a very good job of defending whatever you're doing, you're always going to be in trouble. And look at this, Losira again, going for a lot of links early on, getting an Evo Chamber. I think he made 8 links in total, so looking to try another one of these drops.
So whenever you see this coming, you got to note that the Zerg's drone count isn't really rising, assuming he keeps making links, which I'm guessing that's what we're going to see here, while the Protoss is continuing to pump probes. So it's paramount that the Zerg does a lot of damage with this.
Patience defended so well last game, so I'm surprised that Losira does this one more time. Like,
I
think it's shut down.
I feel like Losira says if he does anything that allows the game to go on for too long, he's going to be outclassed.
Actually, does that shade go through because he has no links back at
Yeah, and I think the fact that he sees no links, that might telegraph what is about to happen here.
Having one Adept out on the map like this is quite dangerous because he's going to get hit by links on the other side of the map. The wall not quite complete yet. Losira is starting 2 Overlords. Does he make only links from there and floods? He starts 8 more links at least. Let's see if Patience checks for this like he did last game.
Let's see if we have the Scarlet variation of this. Usually this was dropped in here to kill probes, but it seems like you can actually drop and then try to surround the gateway on the other side. Now Patience knows exactly what's happening. The question is he able to stop it with his control here? There is just now the 2 Adepts coming in over here. Trying to get some probes, and we only have 1 kill so far. Okay, there we go. 3 more taken out. By watching the minimap, we can see that actually the Lings are about to come to the gateway, and I'm wondering, is this the point in time where we're going to see Losira run around? And I guess the answer is no. He's keeping these 3 Lings back there.
With the shield battery about to finish there, that Adept will be basically immortal. Can it finish on time here? That Adept taking so much damage. Can the Lings get in? Oh my God! The last second!
That was crazy.
Saved. What a hero.
Yeah, looks like this time we're gonna have, okay, it was just barely denied with about 4 seconds remaining on the warp gate. At least that's one little victory here for Losira, but we already know in game 1 it wasn't enough to give him the kind of lead that he needed. And from here, I think Patience has successfully sandbagged the entrance of his base where Ling threats are not really a possibility anymore.
Here's the thing, Patience is going to Glaives, he's already got his Stargates, and now Losira forced this rewall, which is largely a lot of gateways. Be careful what you provoke and what you ask for in this game, because now Patience, all he has to do is make a ton of Adepts, go on the offensive, and this is going to be getting very scary in a second. Did Warpgate finish?
No. He's got to remake it. But there's this funny thing I noticed about gateways, Todd. You ever noticed they seem to be great at making units?
They're pretty good at
They're
that.
pretty good, A lot of people
Now that you mention
noticed them for that blue thing in the middle of them. But
Yeah.
you know what? Yeah. Every time I go back to these games like Cass, they're good at making attacking units, and I think you're completely correct that by forcing all those gates out, are you actually just forcing a certain type of attack from Patience?
Yeah. Obviously, getting the cancel on the Warpgate was huge, but I mean, from there, Patience, all he has to do is kind of re-chrono boost that. And from there,
forward.
From there, Patience is going to go for a Dark Shrine and a Prism and probably be getting pretty aggressive himself. The Dark Shrine is a strange choice, actually, because he already made he's already forcing Spores, kind of, so we'll see if he's ready for that in a second.
Just get Archons or something right away. Okay, we're back. Peace out, PL Obs A. And now we
come back.
Yeah, see you in hell. So the Obs is gone. The lag is gone as well here as we continue on in this game.
Oh my God.
Oh! Well, that was worth it.
Oh my God, he's trapped.
Oh, wow. It
It
seems so vast and infinite out there in space, but in fact, it was not enough to get away from the shots of a queen. So the Warp Gate's going to finish here, and I do feel that Patience is a guy that can kind of play the instinct game.
Anyway, I think his instinct is telling him to attack right now. Look at how many gates he's making.
Yeah.
He's going to go up to, I think, 7 in total.
Yeah.
Or 8. And the Prism about to finish and charge on the way. This is going to get very scary for Losira in a second. Actually, Losira's doing the right thing. He's going into roaches. He's reading this perfectly, I think. He knows that Patience likely to attack, so he gets the right units to try and defend against this kind of army.
By the way, good scout there. He sees the exact moment the Warp Gate finished because those gateways are just now setting up.
And
this is actually pretty good too, because like we were talking about, Patience wanted to do an attack. He's already cut down on that unit count there just by coming up like that.
kind of being forced to defend. And also, Patience has no idea that there are roaches on the way, the perfect units to hold on against charge lots and Archons, or even DTs, which I don't think here should be using DT form. But actually, as I say that, he didn't go for Archons here. Is he going to try to drop? No, I guess there's already a lair. It doesn't really make sense.
Oop. Okay, completely out of vision.
That is a lot of Archons.
That's a lot. Uh-oh, peekaboo. Okay, here we go. The Archons are coming up now. Now the problem is if you do this...
Evacuate with everything, pick up, drop, pick up.
Save me!
He got it. He could recall even if he really gets in trouble.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm still not used to that sometimes in some of these or much earlier games that we had casted. That was kind of an odd move there by Patience to try to make all the Archons there. That's not the normal way it goes, but I guess that's one attempt to kind of throw Losira off a little bit. We have the probes just transferring up here to the third now. It's still 3 base versus 3 base, although I think, you know, the momentum behind the harass here for Patience is kind of gone.
I think Losira is going to attack in a second, by the way. He's only making units, and he's morphing in a lot of Ravagers. I couldn't quite tell whether he's just scared of an attack or if he wants to attack himself, but I think now that he hasn't made any drones for this amount of time, he definitely wants to attack himself. He's going to go around this prism.
Does he actually know this army's here? I think he might have. It's like it's the oddest movement. Okay, now he sees it.
Yeah, but does he have enough? I mean, this is such a difficult army to face because of the corrosive bind. Mostly, there's 6 Ravagers.
I actually don't think he has enough sentries here to even buy time. I mean, these
one set of force field, or maybe 2 is what he has.
Well, let's see here. The corrosive biles are going to come out here now. He needs to just land a few more before these roaches and Ravagers get in too close, and we're not seeing that happen here. Actually, I think the sentries might just barely not have enough energy. Now, there's still 2 Immortals alive, but I mean, just with the sheer number that's coming out here, I think this is the point in time where Losira kind of overwhelms. Oh, wait a minute. There's no Overseer.
What the hell? Did he forget about the Dark Shrine? Well, I guess maybe he never saw it. He just saw Archon. No, he did see.
Oh no, but you would expect, right? You would expect him to go for the Dark Shrine.
Yeah, he saw one of the DTs in the main base at some point.
Yeah. No, for sure. No, that's correct. That's correct. Well, this allows him to buy time. I'm sure there's going to be an Overseer here eventually.
Losira has so much anyway. All he has to do here is kite, and I think he might be able to get the Equalizer here in a second.
Well, we're still waiting for the rest of this army to come over here. I mean, Losira is actually getting pushed back, but this is really a game where Patience is hanging on by a thread. Now, but these DTs, you know, this damage does start to stack up, especially with the Warp Prism juggling the Immortals. I'm sorry, is there no Overseer here? Can we get a zoom out? There it is, there it is. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out when this is actually going to get here.
Get to work, Phoenix!
This is where you really get to realize how long it actually takes a Phoenix to kill off this one Overseer.
About 6 minutes.
Yeah, I would say. This is pretty rough. So it's now 2 base Patience versus Losira with Roach Ravager, 150 supply. Of course, it's quite easy to max out with Roach Ravager. I don't know if Patience wants to try to tap out and go to another game. It seems like he wants to take advantage of the fact that there's not real anti-air to threaten the Warp Prism, which means he can fly around the map and pick fights as he sees fit.
He doesn't really know where Losira's economy is at, so I think he's just going to stick in it a little bit longer, try and make something happen with that one Immortal here across the map, and then just kind of try and slowly expand. Roaches are very low tier units, you know, all you need is like one proper fight with enough Immortals, you clean them up, and then suddenly you're in a great spot. We've seen crazier comebacks.
Yeah,
obviously
that's
right now,
true.
Looking at the supply, it looks very bad for Losira.
No disrespect to Losira, but I think that he's a player where if Patience actually just really stays on top of it, he actually could engineer a comeback. But first, Patience has to get a 3rd base up and be able to survive this battering ram of Roaches and Ravagers. He can no longer rely on DTs. There's just more than enough of Overseers here.
That one Immortal moonwalking towards the natural base. Losira coming in from multiple sides, and I think this is going to be it here. Gets the full surrounds. GG. Losira brings it back here, just like when he won Code A Tasteless with a lot of roaches.
Yeah, he's good with that Roach Ravager style of play. Here's what I'm really wondering, Todd, is like, is he go for the drops again? I mean, I don't think Losira can. I don't think anybody can one-trick pony their way through.
That was really weird that
groups.
Patience checked perfectly in game number 1, but not at all in game number 2, to be honest, because Maybe it's this mind game of he did it in game 1. He's never gonna dare do it again.
It's so counterintuitive that, you know, Patience or Losira calls the bluff.
Yeah.
Says, all right, you're not checking, are you? Okay, now you really get punished. And of course, this is an odd situation for Patience. He's had just these really aggro games come out of Losira. Every aggro game ends up with slightly different results after, you know,
I tell you what,
settles.
this game he checks.
Huh?
I tell you what, next game he checks.
Oh,
for
I know.
sure.
Yeah.
And
I feel like if Losira does it a third time, I'm like, now you're just touching a hot stove. This is, and you just keep getting burned. This is the
and
reason
somehow
why
this
is
is working.
Yeah, and somehow it's working. So we'll be going into game 3 pretty soon here. I just wonder, because I think it's going to be aggression from from Losira, excuse me, again. But what kind? I mean, this is at least now a fairly trendy thing.
Yeah.
I'd say, especially in probably the past 5 months of StarCraft 2, is a lot of these drops, and just sort of knowing how to follow it up. I guess we don't have to wait anymore as game 3 has loaded up. This is the final match between these two, Losira and Patience, here at the Intel Extreme Masters in Katowice. In the bottom right, in the blue, he is Losira. And his opponent here in the opposite corner of the map, in the red, it's Patience.
Do we see Losira with yet again the same build order? It's very good on this map because there is a third base that's a pocket expansion in which there is a lot of space to actually drop Zerglings inside. So there's so much surface area that you need to cover as Protoss to watch out for these potential drops. Inside of your main base as well, there is a small corner that's easily droppable. So things could get scary very quickly here in this game. If Losira was to go for the same thing, he actually already opens for an extractor. You know, there's always the argument of, do I do it again when the opponent expects it? Up against, you don't really want to change the winning strategy, right? Up until the point he loses. But then again, it's match point, right? Remember, the winner of this, by the way, will face either Nib or Harstem, which will be our next match in qualifying match. Very important stuff here happening.
Yeah, we are getting to the end of whittling down this huge number of players that we started out with just yesterday.
Trimming the herd.
Yeah. We are...
Thinning the herd, I think.
I'll take trimming. So, I'm just not sure what really to expect from Losira.
Thinning the nerds.
Did you say taming the nerds?
Thinning the nerds.
Thinning the nerds. I was thinking about trimming the nerds, and I'm like, well, that's like giving them haircuts, right? That's not... I think we call this Nerd StarCraft Battle Royale is what it is. Yeah. There's only going to be one player left at the end of this tournament.
With hair.
That's right, with hair.
The winner. Who also gets interviewed by Smix.
That's right. Stargate on the way.
10 links.
What's that upgrade that the Zerg's getting? What's that building? I didn't bring my glasses, Todd. Can you see that? Can you tell me what that is?
Metabolic boost. The links are going to be very fast.
Oh, I've heard of that ability. But in Evolution Chamber, what do you...
Actually, yeah, so he's going to drop towards the main base.
Yeah.
I thought he might want to do a double, like one also towards the third.
Intel Extreme Masters Groundhog's Day edition. But can he change the day to not be like it was in game 1? I guess that was actually the day before. I'm like, no, he won that one.
Patience needs to check for this, and he needs to get enough units, and he needs to wall off, and he needs to defend perfectly. Gets an Oracle first. That could help for the defense. Okay, he spots it early.
Oh, but there's 2.
Well, to be honest, he only needs 1 because he can load up and drop and then do the same again.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't see the second one, right? So there's a little bit of a variation here.
I'm not sure what the second one's for. Like the 1 is enough in the main.
Well, I don't know. I mean, okay, this is totally not working.
He's pretending, I think, that it's just the 8 here. Oh my God.
Oh my God, he sees it.
Oh, he needs to rewall behind this, just like in the previous game. Maybe get a shield battery. Patience needs to seal the gates, Tasteless. Otherwise, the floodgates are going to be open. Oh my god, the Adept! He saves it.
Okay, here comes the bigger drop now. Now the Phoenix can clean up these Overlords eventually, but it's going to be a little bit. So that means these Lings are all going to unload. There's still a big barrage of Lings that are just now hitting the entrance.
He's going to go for the wall at the natural, knowing that this could be sealed off. He's going to unpower the pylon here in 1 second. Oracle comes to the rescue and probes as well, but I think he's going to die just a little bit before. And there is room for the Lings to get in. Oh, he's not getting in. Oh my god.
Yeah, he sealed it up. This is similar to what we saw in the IEM Pyeongchang finals with the loopy round bust. To try to hit that from both sides. So the Cybernetics core goes down. Okay, the second Oracle is out though. And the Phoenix, I believe, did clean up. It should be 2 kills on there. Yeah, there it is. There's no longer a drop Overlord. And you know, as long as the Oracle is over these Lings, it kills the Lings so quickly.
This is really bad for Losira. He has no more Overlord to drop into the main base. He has no economy. 19 walkers to 32. He's trying to still bridge those gates at the natural of Patience, who now has 2. He has 2 Adepts attacking the whole time. He can re-wall again, and his wall is not even that close to falling right now, Tasteless.
Pylons are getting lower and lower, especially this one at the top. We need to get the wall in set up. The next gateway does go down as he's continuing to try to sandbag behind and not let this flood of Lings spill through.
Look at him, the Architect. He keeps on resealing that wall here right behind those initial gateways. It's the second wave of gateways and pylons. Lings do get in, but I mean, it's only so many of them. Patience should be able to deal with this with the Oracle Adepts and probes that he's got there, and then re-wall.
Wait, did he get the wall in? Okay, he actually does get through. There's still a... No! Once again denied. No!
Okay, so
crazy.
just 2 Lings get in.
Patience.
Losira is not stopping. He's still going all in. He's still making more Zerglings.
We see Oracles flying around, some without energy to do anything. They're there more for moral support for those probes that are under attack.
You guys can do it.
You can do it. You can do it. You gotta believe.
We'll help where we can.
Patience will micro you well. And so the Oracles, I think, have basically curbed this from going further, right? There's enough probes mining. He can keep gearing up. The Oracle numbers are going to continue to grow.
It's only
Oracles over here like
fish
in a barrel. Fish in a barrel.
How many kills does this Adept have? Absolute butcher.
I
He's been
don't
there
know.
the whole time.
That's a hero.
22.
22 kills. That makes him a serial killer, I think, if I know the math numbers correctly. So he's continuing to just mow down these Lings. And now we have 2 Oracles that are going to counterattack.
Losira's going to try to redrop, I think. But I mean...
Oh, I think you're right.
He's droning up. Okay, no, he's giving up. 20 walkers to 29, though.
Now, is this a miscalculation here? Patience? No, I think Patience has got this one
down.
Yeah, I mean,
that one Phoenix will go on a tear. Catch all the Overlords that are in the middle of the map.
Also, yeah, seeing that Overlord that's sent up there to drop, Phoenix is going to go northbound, kill that.
I think he has something at the bottom. Is that 2 Oracles down there?
Yeah, those are the 2 Oracles hiding.
Oh
I think he's just banking energy. Here we go.
They're going to fly in and kill everything.
Yeah, I mean,
this is Tasteless and Artosis right there.
That's right. Coming in there. I'm the Oracle with no energy, but Artosis has got this one. Here we go! Okay, kind of weird that he lost the Oracle, but
yeah,
I mean, that's just another blow there. I mean, it's actually, you know, when you look at the workers, I guess Losira actually snuck out a little bit more workers than I realized he would have when this rush was done. I was so busy focusing on the Lings.
I'm surprised he sacked the Oracle, though. I thought that was going to fly back and keep it alive, but I mean, there is many more where that came from. Tasteless, 4 more Oracles. We joined the Tasteless Oracle. That's all the other casters here.
That's right.
Roddy, Pig, me.
I call them the
Maynarde.
Okay, so this is where the damage output is going to be crazy. And I think this is a smart moment to send this out here because there's just too much back at home. The Lings are never going to get in there, and there's so many drones getting mowed down. Granted, Patience, it appears, will lose some of those Oracles. For 12 drones, I think Patience is happy with that exchange. Not to mention, a Robo-Bay is about to get done. Zealot Legs on the way. More gateways coming up. The production engine is going to be too strong here for Patience.
Absolutely, yeah. Losira is solo on Econ, and he's also out-teched completely. Like, he's not only facing Oracles that he's going to have a hard time dealing with. Like, sure, he can make Queens, but that means he's going to get less units and drones. He's also kind of going to be stuck on Lings for the most part, or at least on not that many army units against the Protoss. That's going to go into charge lots, Archons, and I think go for the kill here in the minute, Tasteless.
This sucks so much for Losira because he is well aware of the position he's in. But it looks to be his last game here.
Yeah.
What is he going to do? I mean, you can't blame him for trying. But I think Patience, a player that's pretty calculated, knows how to do this dance and close this game out.
Yeah, Roach Run is a little bit late as well here from Losira. He did go for the +1 missile, but with that later Roach Run, I feel like he already needs it now, and he needs to be pumping units out now. Losira tries to make something happen with the Lynx. He actually sneaks in. Oh, patience. You're going to have to be careful not to let that happen here.
Yeah, and those Lynx come in there, and Losira goes, whoa, I'm really behind. He has a lot of stuff in here as well. And I think, you know, it's just an inevitability.
That run by was great, actually, because it buys more time for Losira and forces units to be warped in at home here for Patience a little bit. But
we're gonna have this drop come in here.
Patience doesn't have to attack, by the way. Like, he can just play solid from there. I think he's just looking to try and harass here with 2 Archons while taking his own third.
Oh, look at this. Yeah, well, as long as he juggles the Archons correctly and utilizes the Oracles like we see right here, he's not going to get further behind. In fact, he's only getting more and more ahead. Does this math out correctly? He gets it, right? Yep, okay. Nicely done.
Immortal production begins. He saw the roaches. Oh my god, it's actually the 3rd Immortal that's being made now. Patience. He's in such a great spot having a 3rd base against a Losira that's struggling to even stay in this game here. I feel like at this stage, he wants to make something happen, but what is he supposed to do? Like, there's no magical unit he can make to really come back in this one. All he can do is get roaches, ravagers, and then kind of hope for the best.
Okay, a pickup there on the Archons again, just continuing to chisel away at the already very small army here for Losira. And now I believe this should be the executing blow.
Finish him.
Yeah, this is the fatality here. Now, what kind of fatality is it going to be? I think it's going to be one of the special fatalities.
What are those?
I don't know what you do. Oh, you never played Mortal Kombat?
Oh.
Okay, well, hand in your nerd card, and I'll take care of the rest of this cast, because that was a good meme right there. We have the push coming down now, and I mean, this is like a choose your own adventure of when. I know I've used that joke before, but it really is. It's like, well, how do you want to close the game out? It's your birthday, Patience.
With some good force fields and some Stasis Sword, apparently having a lot of fun. Let's see if Losira can defend. He needs to kite, but he's going to get force fielded in.
So, I mean, that's going to be it. There is way too much damage. The Archons can trample over the force fields as he continues to push in here. And that's just going to be it. Patience is the victor of this series with a 2-1 win. Congratulations, GG.
He eliminates Losira and stays alive in the process, and we've got a guaranteed PvP later on to be the final match in these brackets. Patience will either face Nib or Harstem, which should be our next match here. Oh wow, I gotta say, like, we got Terran and Zerg doing well yesterday. I'm pretty happy to see the 3rd race in StarCraft, the Protosses, really come out in full force today.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see that as well. We have so many interesting players that are still getting deeper into this tournament, and it's so hard to call. With even some of the upsets we've had already, it's hard to say, like, who's going to keep advancing, right? No disrespect to Losira, I didn't think he was going to get this far, but he went 1-2 against Patience. Patience is a great player. Anyways, we are going to have an interview with Patience in just a little bit, but first, a short break. Don't go away. We'll be back soon here at the Intel Extreme Masters.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. We just saw Patience take down Losira in the lower bracket for bracket 4, and you're staying alive, so congratulations, Patience. That was a pretty intense series. The bracket that you've gone through has been quite difficult. You faced 3 Koreans in a row, so my first question to you is, when you saw your bracket, what were your thoughts? 일단 축하드리고요. 대진표가 좀 어려운 대진표를 받았는데 처음에 봤을 때 반응이 어떠셨나요?
일단 처음 대진표 보고 이걸 와야 되나 말아야 되나 했는데 그래도 열심히 연습해서 한번 잘해보자 하고 왔어요.
So he says, if I'm going to be quite honest, when I saw my bracket, I thought, is it even worth for me to show up to Katowice? But honestly, I thought, okay, let me just practice really, really hard and do the best that I absolutely can. And luckily, it's been working out for you so far as you're still alive at this event. Let's talk about the series with Losira, because the first 2 games he opened with Ling Drop, but in that 3rd game, he was way more committed. It was an all-in. So did that catch you off guard at all? 이제 첫 2 경기는 이제 링 드랍으로 열었는데 세 번째 경기는 올인이 됐어요. 그래서 그것 때문에 좀 당황을 하셨는지.
일단 첫 번째, 두 번째 판에 올인인 척 하시면서 운영하시길래 마지막 판도 그렇게 하실 줄 알고 조금 그렇게 생각하고 했는데 뭔가 링이 많이 와가지고 게이트 이거 열리나 하면서 그러니까 계속 뚫리나 하면서 계속 열심히 지었어요.
So he says the first 2 games, I kept thinking it would be an all-in, but it turned out that he was just it was just harassment and pressure as he went more macro style. And then in that 3rd game, I thought he was just doing the same thing as he did in games 1 and 2, but then the lings just would not stop coming. So I just thought, okay, I really just need to keep building my gateways, and that's what I chose to focus on. And luckily, I was able to hold the wall. And now moving forward, if you just play 1 more player and win, you are qualifying, and it's going to be either Hearthstone or Neeb. So how are you feeling about your Protoss versus Protoss right now? 이제 한 번만 더 이기면 진출하는 건데 하르스톤 선수 아니면 니입 선수를 만날 건데 푸푸전 대해서 지금 어떻게 생각하세요?
일단 오기 전에 푸푸전이 좀 어려웠는데 아까 기웅이랑 할 때도 좀 어려워가지고 일단 열심히는 해보겠는데 질 수도 있을 것 같아서 너무 슬프네요.
So he says, honestly, as I came into this event, I was kind of struggling with PvP a little bit. And earlier, and even when I had to face the Korean Protoss player, I was really struggling. So I'm kind of nervous and sad because I feel like there is a chance that I might lose, but hopefully it'll work out for me and that I can advance. So congratulations again. We'll see how your next match goes. James, let's get back to you.
Thank you very much, Smix. Indeed, as Patience moves on into the qualifying match, I'm joined by the lovely gents here at the desk once again, and I was very surprised to see how Losira was actually going to approach those games. As you know, we were just hearing there before, very, very aggressive and bold statements, and especially in that last game, him having to create almost 3 walls, basically, to try and keep him out. So Losira, ever the aggressor, doing okay, but in the end, Patience prevails.
Yeah, good defense there by Patience throughout those games. I mean, the first game especially, what a hold there. The drops coming into the main, and it was like, I think that really the Storms and Zealots in that main base massacring that first big drop from Losira was a key turning point. And cool to see Patience claw his way back into that series and now progress through.
Yeah, it definitely was. And unfortunate for Losira, now he is out of the tournament. But let's talk about what we have up to come even, I should say. We have lots of Protoss versus Protoss now. Patience going up against either Hearthstone or Neeb, gents. And Patience's PvP, what do you think about that? How do you think he's going to match up against one of these 2 Protoss later down the line?
His PvP is off and on,
Okay.
to be honest. Like, he just said he's not feeling too good in PvP, so I don't think he's actually going to be able to win that match.
Right.
It's just, you got to be on to beat Hearthstone or Neeb, and especially who's going to win out of those 2. Neeb has historically been one of the best PvP players on Earth.
Right, we have one of our members from each continent. We have Neeb from North America, we have Hearthstone from Europe, and we have Patience from South Korea. And Maynarde, you thought going into this we'd have a lot of Protoss representation. Hasn't seemed to fail just yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have 3 Protosses guaranteed out of this bracket, and that's pretty cool. It's going to be a nice distribution of races when we get into the round of 24, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm actually really, really hyped for Neeb Hearthstone, to be honest. Like, I love PvP. It's actually my favorite mirror right now.
Yeah.
Very explosive, literally, at the moment, as Disruptors are sneaking their way back in. Makes me happy. It's my favorite unit in the game. So
Really?
I'm very keen.
Oh, nice.
It is, yeah. No, I love it.
All right, well, let's go to a short break here, and then we can get the wrap rolling in just a moment. So join us after the break when we have more from the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice.